Hello, welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. With me, your host, Owen. The channel likes to bring you your team every single day. The channel run by the fans for you, the fan guys. And all the places you can find us on social media are scrolling along the bottom of the page. Well, we're here to look ahead to the St Johnstone game on Wednesday night. Now, primary to this, of course, has been the fact that Philippe Clement has just finished speaking to the media ahead of this game. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over what Philippe has had to say in his press conference. Love a good Philippe Clement press conference. The man is almost Shakespearean in his oratory about the team and about games, the way he talks. So much more respect for the guy than previous managers. Let's not mention the name of that previous manager who did spout an awful lot of crap. We're also going to little look ahead to a possible team lineup for tomorrow night. And do we need rotation? And in addition to that, we're going to have a quick look at our opponents, St Johnstone, and their very promising young Polish player, Franczak, who is 16. And a lot of clubs have already started looking at him. But let's start off with old big Philippe. You know, look, guys, this guy, when he talks to the media, when he talks, we listen, because he is certainly the man, isn't he? You know, I've got to say, listening to his press conferences, he's just so professional. And the way he deals with the media is just absolutely amazing. And for me, he just instills you with confidence. And look, I know there's such a thing as getting carried away, etc., etc. But for me, it's listening to the guy. And when you listen to someone who instills belief into you, when you listen to someone who has an authority when they speak, it certainly earns them a respect and gives you a faith and a confidence in them to go and do their job, doesn't it? And that's what Philippe Clement does. You know, he talked a little bit. He talked a lot in this press conference about experience, about building the squad, about how the squad is developing in terms of personality, in terms of change of mentality, in terms of resilience and everything like that. And I think he's very much correct on that. There has been very much a big sea change. It was certainly interesting to hear Connor Goldson talk the other day and say that as far as he was aware, the squad were in a very bad place under Michael Beale, which is kind of, I don't know, code for saying that they downed tools a little bit. And I think, you know, given the treatment of Fashion Sakala, the way Beale often talks in press conferences, I'm not surprised the players turned off to his message and stopped listening. Philippe Clement said that every experience with this group will make our confidence stronger. If we keep the hunger and the solidarity, it will make an amazing season. I am confident in that. And I think he's right. You know, we have started to show more of a solidarity, more of an ability to fight for each other. It's no longer a group of individuals as it looked under Michael Beale. It looked very much like 11 individuals running about a park, not having a clue what they were doing. Whereas under Philippe Clement, there seems to be a belief, an understanding, not just in terms of the tactics and what was expected of them on the pitch, but also in terms of, you know, getting the right mentality onto the field, a winning mentality, which is what this club is, of course, founded on. He was asked about what it was like to be celebrating with the players on the pitch on Sunday, and personally, got to speak, I loved seeing him bouncing up and down, celebrating with the players, and going to the fans with the trophy was just absolutely outstanding to see. And you know, just again, more stuff that will endear him to the players, endears him to the fans, and just what a lucky club we are to have someone like Philippe as our manager. He says, nothing is as nice as being on the pitch with the players on Sunday. I really enjoyed celebrating with the fans. I didn't celebrate enough when I was a player, but I need to do it more, and the fans were great. And we certainly hope that Philippe Clement will, of course, do it more often. Hopefully another couple of trophies this season to celebrate, hopefully a domestic treble. I know, one game at a time. Don't get carried away, Owen. I know, I understand. But, you know, it is right. It is nice to celebrate with the fans. It was great that he did that. You know, going over to the fans with the trophy, was just absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I know. I mean, let's face it, for a player who wants to play for Coventry City, you are shit. There's not surprised he didn't get very many times to celebrate. He talked as well about how he feels the players have made a big change. You know, he said the energy in the changing room, the belief, the fighting spirit has changed since I've come in. I think he's right, you know, and I think, again, it's a thinly veiled swipe at his predecessor. I think, you know, in terms of this squad and this team and this club, where we were 2 months ago when Philippe came in, when we were right down in the doldrums, we were in a situation where things weren't good on the field, things weren't good off the field. The players didn't respect the manager. The fans were exceptionally upset with the level of performance on the field. There was no progress week to week. Now, as Philippe says, there is an energy, there is a belief, there is a fighting spirit. And you see it on the field, don't you? You kind of see it, you know, when we lose the ball, there's a desire to get that ball back, to do something with that ball, to create, to go and be something on that field. And you've got to credit Philippe Clement with that. You know, him is Stefan van der Heyden, obviously one of the coaches. Alex Ray, all the guys, you know, they've obviously instilled something in this team. They've obviously given this team a sense of belief and have done something to change that mindset. And that's what we wanted at the end of the day. We wanted a change of mindset. We wanted a different Rangers. We wanted to see progress, not only through the play, but through the mentality of the players on the field, to be Rangers players in effect. And I think Philippe has certainly done that. He certainly molded them into certainly a very, very good unit. And look, I have the utmost respect for this guy and what he has achieved so far. And I've got no doubt in my mind, give him a full preseason, give him the rest of this season. He's going to hopefully continue that and continue to develop that and to bring that mentality and that sea change in getting this club back to where it belongs as the elite club in Scotland, as the dominant force in Scotland, and also a force in European football. He was asked about the St Johnstone game tomorrow night, and he said, we are expecting a hard battle. They're another tough team. It's a big test for us. 3 days after a cup final, we need to switch quickly. And Philippe is right. There is a real St Johnstone. Look, I know what we've said in the past. We say that, we are Rangers. We shouldn't fear anybody. We fear no foe, etc., etc. But teams play a certain way against us. They make it hard. They make it tough. And I think one of the things that slightly concerns me going into this game is the situation where we are facing with a very thin squad. Tiredness amongst the players. I mean, it must have been emotionally and physically draining last week, to obviously win the game on Saturday against Dundee with 10 men, and then to go to Seville and to win that game, which is tough against a very, very good opponent. Then to go into a cup final and all the emotion and all the mentality surrounding that, along with all the physical side of it. So for me, there is a worry that there will be some tiredness and some fatigue amongst the players. And Philippe Clement is right. There has to be a switch of focus. There has to be a real, right, that is done and dusted. We now move on. And I've got to say, listening to the players post-game on Sunday, there appeared to be a new, for me, sense of focus, a new sense of purpose, a real belief in the season ahead, and the fact that yes, we've done something amazing today, yes, we did something amazing on Thursday, but we move on, and this is all for nothing if we don't follow that result up with results in the league against these teams that we should be taking on and beating. Especially if you consider, obviously, it is at Ibrox, it is our home, our fortress, and we need to obviously continue that run on now. And St Johnstone obviously will be tough. They'll set up probably to low block against us. They'll make it as hard as they possibly can. They'll break the game up as much as possible, and they'll do what they can to disrupt the game. But it's up to us to obviously let our class tell, to let the players go out and create, to let the players go out and be themselves. And I'm sure Philippe Clement has got that into them, and hopefully, there is a little bit of rotation in there, bring some fresh legs into it. You can't keep playing the same 11 week after week after week in this intense December period, or it will catch up with you, not only in terms of fatigue, but in terms of injuries as well. And we all know that we cannot afford any more injuries to this team. Philippe was also asked a little bit about, in terms of Ross McCausland, and he made a brilliant point, I think, on this. He said that it's nice to see Ross performing and see Ross winning trophies. Hopefully it gives the academy players the hunger. And I think that is spot on, realistically. You've got a situation where, one of our own has come through and one of our own is being successful. He started a cup final. He started he started European games. He started games in the league. He's getting an opportunity to play. And for me, that's got to send a sign to some of these young lads coming through, the likes of Aaron Lyle, Cole McKinnon, Zach Lovelace when he's fit, hopefully Bailey Rice at some point, Mason Munn, and these guys here, that there is a future at this club. And if you perform well enough, Philippe is going to give you that opportunity to play, and he's going to give you the chance to go out there and impress for the first team. And that comment there, is spot on with what he said. And I really do hope that we do see some more of our players coming through, because there's nothing nicer, I don't think, as a fan, to see an academy guy, someone who has probably been a Rangers fan since he was a kid, someone who's come through our system, come and actually turn out and wear the shirt, play at Ibrox. It probably means more to them than a lot of others, because of the fact that they have such an investment in the club in terms of not only their future and their career, but in terms of the emotional investment of being a Rangers fan. So yeah, great news indeed. But look, Philippe Clement again, that's just a brief summary. We'll look at the pod. We'll look at the what's it called, press conference in a little bit more detail in the match day news video tomorrow morning. But guys, overall, again, another very impressive press conference with lots of good content there to discuss and take forward. Now, tomorrow night is obviously going to be a game where I think, do need to put in some rotation. I think there's a few players need to change in, change out. Not a massive change. You can't, for me, take out change a huge amount of your players because you disrupt the team too much. So there will be some players that have to play, have to stay in position. I don't think you mess with back fours. I think, if you look down the years, teams that have had consistent back fours, kept that consistent, produced consistently, are teams that are successful. Teams that constantly chop and change their back fours are, I think, on the whole, put themselves in a position where they can become weak defensively and easy to catch out. So before we look at our opponents, this is what I would start tomorrow night. And as I always say, guys, you might say, thank fuck you're not picking the team, Owen. Well, here it is. Obviously, Super Jack Butland in goal. There can be no other. He is just absolutely outstanding. I absolutely love him. And the reaction that he had at the completion of the cup final was just a picture to behold. Back four, I would make one little change to the back four. I would give Ridvan Yilmaz a game. I think Borna needs a break. He has played a lot of football. He has just come back from injury. Ridvan is a good player. I don't think St Johnstone will be able to exploit him. I think as well it gives us more attacking option, and against St Johnstone we're going to need it. Balogun and Goldson for me have to start in the middle. They're our two best central defenders. Look good on Sunday in the cup final. Leon has had an outstanding season, and I know he's getting older, but to me he doesn't look like he can't carry on playing. So there, and Tav obviously starts at right back. I think we go with the same engine room in midfield of Sterling and Lundstrom. Again, both were outstanding on Sunday in the cup final. Dujon Sterling, looks a find in there. He really does. And you've got to kind of praise Philippe Clement for that thinking outside the box, that desire to move him around and give him an opportunity to prove himself. And, he got stuck in all over the field. He had a couple of good shots. He created. He looks a good midfield player. He looks a quality midfield player. And you even had some people on Sunday night comparing him to a young Yaya Toure. Now, if he becomes half the player that Yaya Toure went on to become, he will be an absolute superstar. So, look, I'd love to see him given more opportunity. Of course, as well as the fact that we haven't got anyone else, I suppose Kieran Dowell, but Dowell is lacking match fitness. Lunny has to start for me. He's been a leader on the pitch, and I've criticised him in the past. Of course I have. But that's what fans do. We criticise players when they don't turn up. But under Clement, he has been outstanding. So for me, he has to start. I would bring Matondo in on the right to get him some minutes. He's quick, he's speedy. I think he'll help us get him behind the St Johnstone defence. And again, like I always say, against the low block, it's about varying your points of attack. And I think with Cantwell and Seema and Matondo, you can look at squashing it into the middle and trying to get through those little gaps, but also spreading out wide and using the width. Todd Cantwell, again, has to start. I thought second half on Sunday, he was brilliant, looking for the ball, leading the high press, trying to create something, trying to get a hold of the game, and that's what we need. And the more we get out of Todd Cantwell, the better. Seema has to start. He's been probably our player, with the exception of Jack Butland and John Lundstrom, probably one of our players of the season this year with his goals. Again, looked a threat on Sunday. Again, just on Sunday, that 80-odd minutes, him sprinting back, getting that guy who'd run past Barisic, tackling him, winning the ball, bringing it out and earning a free kick was just testament to how hard this young lad works. So, yeah, for me, Seema has to start. And I would give Kamar Roof the start up front. I think Dessers needs a break. He's played a number of games. We've still got him to come on from the bench. But I think, again, it's just that rotation, trying to keep this team fresh. Remember, we go again at midday on Sunday. So there is, I think, a need to rotate. We could obviously then rotate again on Sunday just to kind of keep it fresh, keep it going. We don't want to wear these players out. We don't want to get them injured. We don't want to put them in a position where they are, come the 30th of December, absolutely out on their feet due to the paucity and the thinness of this squad. We look at the league table as it goes into tomorrow. It just shows how important tomorrow night is. A victory, we go within 2 points of that lot with a game in hand, which is a game if we win, we go top of the league. And that will really put them back in their box and continue to cause that unbridled panic that seems to be happening on the other side of the city. St Johnstone currently sit 8th in the league. They have played 17. They've won 4, drawn 6, lost 7, have 18 points. They had a very good result last time out, actually. They beat Hibernian 1-0 on Saturday. Saturday before that, they drew 1-1 away at Motherwell. Motherwell are no great shakes this year, as you can see. The team we face on Sunday are second from bottom. Before that, they beat St Mirren, who are 4th, 1-0, and lost 3-1 to Celtic away from at home. Sorry. So, their record isn't bad. It isn't terrible. You look at their last couple of away games. It's not dreadful. They've only had one, I suppose, which is the Motherwell draw. But look, they will come in. They'll have a sense of belief. They'll have a sense of trying to at least get after us, and hoping there'll be a little bit of after the Lord Mayor's show with Rangers. Just the fact, obviously, we won the cup on Sunday. one of the players that's really impressed for them and is getting some pretty decent reviews amongst their fans and amongst pundits is Fran Franschak. Fran Franschak is 16 years old. He is young. He's Polish. He came through the youth system at St Johnstone. He was born in Limonova, but he lived in Glasgow prior to moving to Perth with his family as a child, and has played a couple of games for St Johnstone this year already, and apparently looked very impressive on Sunday. So he'll be certainly someone to keep an eye on. But look, no matter what you talk about with St Johnstone, and without the wish of sounding like a typical arrogant Rangers fan, which I know I'll get levelled at me sometimes, it's St Johnstone at the end of the day. And look, if we can have that, if we've still got that freshness, that ability, which we have, then there should be no reason to worry about this game on Wednesday night. It should be a game where we go. And what I want to see from the lads, and I want to see at Ibrox on Wednesday night, is again an energy, a real positive, forward-thinking philosophy in terms of this is our chance, this is our opportunity. We seize it with both hands. We go again, and we put out on that pitch a product which we can be proud of, that Philippe can be proud of, and the fans can be proud of as well. That's what we need to see on Wednesday. And look, it's doable. It's achievable. This is a great opportunity for Rangers. It really, really is. And it's time we took that opportunity and ran with it and got that result on Wednesday night. Well, guys, let me know what you think of what we have to say in this video. As always, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that sub, help the channel to keep on growing. And as we move forward, there's always two things I ask from you as the video closes. That is, first of all, to smash the like. And the second thing I always ask you to remember is we are the people.